get all these things in and enjoy. Is there anyone here who is also either vegan or you have to say vegan, but plant-based or vegetarian? Anyone else? Okay, 1, 2. Okay, good. Good. That's good to see. Well, I'm going to show you a few things. I don't know how many of you look on YouTube, but YouTube, when you go into the cooking section of all the things, you know, of all the YouTube stuff that's on, you can learn a lot. And they've got a lot of good cooks on there, a lot of good chefs, and that. But what I have noticed in the last year or so, that they try to make as much as they can make with as few ingredients as possible and still have the things taste good. Well, that can be very challenging. You know, I mean, really, that can be very challenging. I've tried some of the stuff is good, some of it's great, other stuff is like, I don't think so. But anyway, that's fun to try. So kind of what I have, a couple of the items here are, there are very few. Your cranberry sauce is very few, your potatoes are very few, and this last one has a few more into it. So I'm just going to go over, the cranberry sauce is already made, but it needs to stay refrigerated and so on, so I don't have it up here for you to see right now, but when you go to eat it, you'll be able to see it then. The cranberry sauce only takes three ingredients. It takes the cran apple, and for some reason, I like Trader Joe's brand. I don't know that it really makes a difference. To me, it makes a difference. I've had other brands, and it's just, the other brands are a little too sweet, even though there's no sugar in it, but anyway. Cran apple, it takes the dried pineapple. That's where your sugar's coming from. That's what's going to make it sweet as well as the juice as well. But it's just your dried pineapple. Dried pineapple. Now, I have never seen a pineapple this small. So I was surprised when I got this package, but I guess there are small pineapples. I'm used to the bigger ones that have bigger rounds, but I got these off of Amazon and from a company called Oh Nuts, and so they also have nuts as well. And then, of course, cranberries. And those three things. So all you do is you take your cranberries and the juice and the pineapple, and you put it all together in a saucepan. You bring it to a boil, and then you turn it down, and you simmer that for 5 minutes. And then that softens that pineapple, and so it gets it ready, because you're gonna blend it. And so after, I let it sit for a little bit. I don't like to put it in the blender hot, so I let it cool for just a few minutes. Put it in the blender, and you blend it until it's completely nice and smooth. And after you do that, you put it in a dish and you refrigerate that until it gets cold. It takes a few hours to do that. This is one thing you can make in advance. You can even make this a couple days in advance for your Thanksgiving and have it already done. And then that little step is behind you. That's just one little thing. And it's a big thing when you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner, because it's just one less thing that you have to do. Now, I have never liked cranberry sauce. I've never liked it until I went to a cooking class and I tried this recipe. And now I make this every year for Thanksgiving.
I was wondering that.
And it's a good.
Pineapple, is that very hard to find in a regular store?
It depends upon the store you're going to. Whole Foods is a good store to have it. New Seasons, Natural Grocers. If you can find a store that has bulk foods, I don't even know if Fred Meyer's has bulk foods anymore.
Winco.
Pardon?
Winco.
Oh, Winco. Yeah, Winco would be a good one then too. Yeah, yeah.
Is that sugar on the
Oh, no.
pineapple?
No.
Sugar-free.
Natural. Yeah, it's just natural. And you don't want that because the pineapple is already sweet naturally, and you get your sweetener with the juice as well. So, yeah, and it says on the recipe too, yeah, you definitely want unsweetened pineapple. Now, the other thing too, the recipe calls for 5 of these. They're a little smaller, so I put 7 in just because these are quite a bit smaller. I don't want to oversweet it, but I don't want it to be too tart with the cranberries either. So I did put in 7, and you can adjust that easily to your own taste. If you want it a little sweeter, just add in a couple more. If it's too sweet, just take a couple out and just adjust it to your own taste. So that's it for the pineapple, or for the cranberry sauce. And it's only 3 ingredients. So it's kind of fun to do what they do to try to make things and with few ingredients and have it still taste good. The next thing is the sweet potatoes. Now I actually like to use the red garnet. I believe it's actually a yam, not a sweet potato. So I use 4 medium. So I use 4 of these. Of course, you just peel them, cut them up, boil them, cook them until they're, tender and soft. And then,
Excuse me, are they the same sweet potatoes? Are they the same? The skins look different.
these are the red garnet.
Oh,
Yeah, these are the red garnet. These are my favorite. I like the red garnet. Yeah, so use those. Anyway, so you just boil them, and the only other things that it calls for is some maple syrup, which I have here, and it calls for just a little bit of soy margarine. I like to use the Earth Balance margarine. There are umpteen of them out there you can choose from. I've just used this one for years. I've tried others, and they're okay, they're good, but I just prefer this one. And one thing, if you're not familiar with using this one, it's an organic whipped. If you just get the regular one and you try to scoop it out, it's real hard, and you can't even put it on your bread or whatever because it'll just tear it up because it's very hard. This one is nice and soft. You can take it from the refrigerator, take your knife, get it in there, and it comes right out, and it's still spreadable. So this is the kind that I use. And the last thing that we use, and we just use them for garnishing, so you can put them on or not, and that is pecan halves. Now, if you're using raw pecans, then you could put those on and bake it as you're baking it. But I have already roasted these. So if you're using roasted pecans, put them on after you bake your potato, because these will only start to burn because they're already roasted. And nuts are very sensitive to heat. So anyway, so these are already roasted, so we'll add these at later on those, but I just wanted you to be able to see them. So that's it there. And so again, here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients. We've got 3, we've got 4. We're climbing a little bit. So that's for the sweet potatoes. Now, for the tofurkey roll-up, if any of you have ever tried the tofurkey, you probably noticed and maybe have even tried the recipe that's on the back of this box. And I noticed about a year ago they changed it. They took this recipe off and put a new one on. And that other one was on for years and years and years. So they did change it to something else. And I was so glad that I cut the back of it off and saved it. Otherwise, by the time they changed it, if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have had that recipe anymore. So they do change them from time to time. This one is now they have just a regular turkey slice. But this one here, what you want is a hickory smoked for this recipe. And it has a nice flavor to it. So it calls for that. And then it calls for some cream cheese. This is Tofutti brand. I do like the Tofutti brand. Again, there are plenty out there. VioLife, Tofutti. There are just lots of them out there that you can choose from. You don't have to choose this one. But it calls for a red onion. It's going to call for chopped olives. The recipe calls for 4 ounces. This is 4.25 and a little more. So I don't put the whole can in, otherwise it's kind of an overkill of the olives and that. So, but you can do whatever you like. Calls for a red onion. doesn't really make any difference. There's been times I have not had a red onion and I've made it and I just use a regular onion. To me, actually, the red onions are always a little bit hot. But because of the class today, I thought, no, I'm going to use what the recipe says. So it calls for red onion, and the red onion is what is in this. Now this one, I will spread on here for you to see. I already have it mixed together, so it's already mixed in with the cream cheese because I've already done the others in the downstairs, cut up and ready to go. So also with this is a whole wheat tortilla. Now this is not one that when you walk into the store, they have them all up on the shelf. Those are dry ones. This one is actually refrigerated. This is one that is kept in refrigeration in the stores. So you'll have to look a little more for it. The only places you will find them refrigerated is New Seasons. You'll find it at natural grocers. You'll find it that way at Whole Foods. Otherwise, the other stores, they're just on the shelf. You can use those. There's nothing wrong with using them. But I do notice that by using this refrigerated one, that when you roll them up, they roll up tighter and they keep their shape better. When you use the drier ones, when you go to cut it, they kind of start to open up and fall apart. So it's, if you can find them, New Seasons, Whole Foods, and natural grocers, those are the two, or those are the three places that I know of. I've never seen them like that in Fred Meyer's or some of the other places. So anyway. So all you have to do is take out a shell and this is what it looks like, all mixed together. Trying to get up there to everybody to see. And you just spread it out. And one package of these shells will actually make more than 9, because I think there's more than 9 of the shells. But you'll run out of your tofurkey a little bit. So you almost have to get 2 packages of tofurkey to get that 9, because you put several on here. And if you want to, thin it down, you can. You can make more if you don't want to put this much on. You could thin it down. And this is deli sliced, so it's nice and thin. And again, you can put on as many as you want on here. I do 5 until I can only do 4, or I end up with only 3 by the time I'm done. So I like it. It has a good flavor. Okay, not too much. And then you just roll it up. Now one thing, especially for the people online, this is good, tofurkey is good, but if you're going to expect it to taste like meat, no, it does not. And if it did, I wouldn't want it. I don't want that taste. And so I just want people to understand that when you're trying things, don't expect it to taste like meat. This is going to have its own taste, and that's what you really want. You don't want it to taste. I try to stay away from the things that are supposed to taste like meat, because that's not what I'm after. And I'm plant-based for the health reasons. And I know a lot of people are more for animal reasons, and I'm all for being kind to animals. And that's, even our wild barn life animals, yes, I think all of that's important to keep in mind in our lives. But my main purpose for being plant-based is for health. And so we're just going to roll this up. And then you just want to take a piece of saran wrap and I pull it out long because I'm going to turn it this direction. And then I just roll this like this and tuck the ends under. And then when you get to this point, now you just want to put it in your refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours until this gets hard, sets up, and then you're ready to slice it. Now your ends, if you're just preparing it for home and that's what sounds good to you and you don't care about it, but usually for a presentation, if you're doing it for somebody, I cut these off as low as I can because you want to be able to use everything. And you can still use this, but then for me, I always just set these aside for myself and save the nicer looking ones and give them to everybody else. And so So that's why you'll end up with a little bit of a flat end here. Most of that will end up being there. So, anybody, are we doing questions? Or?
We're going to have a time for people to ask questions, from what I understand.
Okay.
So if you would like to, just so that John, sorry about it. Okay. It's not. Yes, it is. It is? Okay. I'm sorry. It was, we're going to have a time for you to be able to ask some questions. And that's what we're trying to get you to, so we can sort of move through this. And we'll let you know. So if you can just jot down, some questions that you may have, that would be better. Then we can do them all together and have a sort of a panel of people answering the questions. While we're making this transition, I'm going to take the microphone up here because I think it's a little easier for me to be here. There, I can hear it now. A plant-based diet has often been touted as the most, as the healthiest approach to eating, and as Debbie was saying, some people use it because of weight loss. Other people use it for different reasons. Maybe they have issues around animals and how they're are cared for, or how they may or may not be abused. But many times, the research has shown that it is the recommended way of eating because there are so many incredible health advantages for choosing a plant-based diet. And there's a lady that has written this book on Southern Comfort Food Diabetes Cookbook. She says it's also popular because it can reduce humans' environmental impact. And there are many celebrities we know that go along with a plant-based or non-meat diet. Going plant-based is not so much of a diet as it is a general approach to eating, because there's no reason for us to count calories or be stressed out about things like that. But we are when you're eating with a plant-based diet, you're eating the proper amounts and the proper foods and nutrients that you need to sustain yourself. But it's simply about eating more plant-based and fewer animal-based ones while you are eating. And I have to say, there are definitely advantages that you can see almost immediately once you start. I mean, very soon thereafter, once you can start, even if you begin to just eliminate and reduce some of the meat. And I know, everyone here probably knows about how processed meats are so bad, or any kind of processed foods. And I'm learning myself over time about what other foods are processed that's not just meat. So it's just it's sort of a way of changing the way you look at eating and food and nutrition. So there are a couple of diets that go along with this. Vegetarian diet, those are those who just eat. They may eat cheese, egg, and milk, but they don't eat meat. Vegan diets, these are people who choose to forego any animal products. And the raw vegetable diet, sometimes that's sort of recommended, but they eat only raw plant-based foods, and I've known people to do that. And then you have people that are more flexible. They simply try to cut down on their meat intake and eat a diet that's primarily filled with the plants, but with maybe some animal products here and there. So we're going to move right into the next section and the next presentation. And Deborah is going to take over there.
Hello, everybody. Okay, we're going to get this set up real quick before we get started.
That's empty, and that's almost empty. We'll just dump
And I'm
it
sure
over
you
there.
can hear me. I talk loud enough without a microphone. So I see a couple of my bowling buddies here. Marquita bowls with me a lot. I know the two of you bowl with Louis, so that's really good to see you. And Candy. Candy comes out and bowls and brings her children, so we enjoy that too. Okay, we're going to get started. The first thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a gravy. And you have that recipe in your folder. And for the gravy, it's really easy to make. Everything goes in the blender. It's just real easy. So I start with a cup of cashews. And what I do, when you buy cashews, I buy them in the bulk. I buy them as cheap as I can. They're partial cashews. They carry them like Winco. They're less than $5 a pound, somewhere around that. And that's what I do. I get cashews, and you have to wash them really well. Okay, I usually wash mine about 3 times, but some individuals, and today I had someone helping me, and they just boil them for a couple minutes, and it takes all of the whatever's in the cashews, it takes it out. So I'm going to throw everything in the blender. This is my 1 cup of cashews. The other thing about the boiling is it does make them softer, okay? A ½ teaspoon sea salt. I'm going to pour that in there. 2
So now
teaspoons
the time I
onion
put this in
powder.
the inventory?
A 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. 1 tablespoon of chicken style seasoning. We don't have the recipe for chicken style seasoning in your folder, but if you filled out your email, I will send it to you. The chicken style seasoning, yeah, Louis,
Everything is a little
honey, will you
corner
do
over
something
here.
for me?
I won't say
Will you
everything.
go downstairs and ask
Right at
Flora
the
to give
very
you the
end.
chicken style seasoning? So we buy it, it's already prepared. The thing is, it's hard to get it. It's out at a store that's way out in Gladstone. Okay? However, anyone who attends the cooking classes, if you want to get it, we will have it here. I'm going to make sure we keep a couple jars right
I
here
throw them away.
so that you.
Oh,
Okay,
they are
so
terrible.
what I need is these cut.
Thank you for reminding me. I need to make sure I take mine off when I go down there. Okay. So anyway, the chicken style seasoning is going to go in there. That's the McKay's, and he's going to bring up the jar. When he goes down, there's one more thing I should bring so you can see it as well, and it's the liquid aminos. Liquid aminos are like soy sauce, but it has less salt content in it, and it's better for you. So I buy liquid aminos. They sell them almost everywhere. Fred Meyer, any of the other places. Can you have my husband also bring the liquid amino bottle? Sharon, could you ask him? He's downstairs. Thank you. I'm going to pour this in here. And then yeast flakes. So the yeast flakes, it's nutritional yeast. I get mine again at Winco because it's the least expensive. When you look at the price, it's like $9 and something per pound, but it's so lightweight, you really get a whole bunch of yeast flakes. These are the things that give you like that cheesy taste. Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is what I'm talking about the McKay's seasoning, okay? And like I told you, we will have some of them here. They are expensive, but it lasts for a long time. They're like $10 or somewhere around there for this. This one has, this one says vegan special. There's some that says non-MSG, and that's usually the ones that I buy. So this must be the, so I'm going to.
That also comes in a beef flavor too, right?
Yes, it does. It comes in a beef flavor too. And this is the chicken flavor. These are, this here, the McKay's. Oh, no, that's okay. McKay's, it says chicken style instant broth and seasoning. And I use a lot of this. This is the liquid aminos. That's the way it looks. That's the bottle. I buy big ones because I use a lot of this too. I'm going to pour that in there. And then we're going to do 3 tablespoons of flour or 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm using cornstarch. And then this is where it says mushrooms. I brought a can of mushrooms. The mushrooms go in at the end. After everything's mixed up, when you were heating everything, you put the mushrooms in. Today, I put mushrooms in the gravy that I made, but some people are allergic to mushrooms, and you do not have to use mushrooms. So once this is in, it says, so it says here, water to make 4 cups. It's about 3 cups of water. What I do, and this is 1 cup. It's right at a cup. What I do is I put in about 1 cup to start with, or even less than that, because I wanted to get the cashews moving around. And this is just a regular blender. I let mine blend for a long time because you want it where you can't taste cashew bits, okay? That is nice and smooth. And you see how when you put a little water in there, it's really mixing up those cashews. I'll add a little bit more water. And I'll let this thing run. I'll go and do something else and let this run for a while. And so it says, and when I fix it, it says up to 4 cups total with the stuff that's in it. And when I measured it, it's 3 cups of water, you know, and you put that in there and it makes it. I'm going to show you what the gravy looks like. And we're going to have it in our samples. So the gravy looks like this. And it was in the refrigerator, so it's really thick, okay? You can always add water to it. It's better to start thick, okay, and add water to get it to where you want it than if it's too thin. So, and this gravy is really good. It has a wonderful taste to it. So this is good. I'm going to add 2 more cups of water. Ooh. You know, that's exactly what happens when you don't do what you should. You should open this and pour the water in. So I got what I deserve. And once this is done, you just put it in a pot and you just simmer it. It'll get thick really fast. You cannot walk away. You'll turn around and it'll be thick and it'll stick. So once you've done this, you put it in a pot, you simmer it until it gets really thick. Now, once you're done with that, let me cut this off. Jonathan's really good. He put these on my table. He probably knew I needed them. Anyway. So once you're done with that and you put it in there, then you put in the mushrooms. The mushrooms you'll have today is a different one than this. It doesn't matter what kind of mushrooms you use. It's better for it to be small pieces. You can actually cut up mushrooms yourself, and you can put them in there, and it'll give, of course, a different kind of taste. And that's what it is, and it makes your gravy. And this is how much gravy was made with one of these, okay? And that's quite a bit of gravy. And then when I add a little water to it, but you'll get a chance to taste it. So that is the gravy. Now the mashed potatoes is in your recipe book as well. And I'm not going to, I need to get the mashed potato thing right here. I'm not gonna, with the mashed potatoes, you know that. You peel the potatoes. I cut mine, and I'll tell you, I use golden potatoes. Oh my goodness. They give the beautiful color. They give a beautiful flavor. You don't have to use as much like margarine or a vegan spread or whatever you're using in it. And they're pretty. They're just pretty. And so that's what I always use. They cost more, but to me, they're worth it. And I was talking to someone downstairs, and they said also it helps with keeping your, I think yes, what did you say? Yes, that's exactly what she said. Keeps your blood sugar lower. See that? Not as much starch as the other potatoes do. So you can do this. This is real easy. All it has is the potatoes. Where it says 4 cloves of garlic, I didn't use cloves. I used garlic powder, okay? And you can substitute. And I probably should have told you how much because you don't want to use I just put in, I think, about a half teaspoon of garlic powder. And then it also tells you your vegan butter. Someone's probably going to be coming up and down the steps with me a lot because we did put everything up here in the size we needed. But I want you to see the containers. So, Debbie, did she show you them? Yeah, and there's different kinds. You'll know. You can go in the store. I'm just amazed now. They have a whole section of them. It used to be where you could just find one. You can find so many of them now. And so I use Earth Balance. I try to look at the back of them and take the one that has the least ingredients. The fewer ingredients in anything, the better it is for you. Okay? So that's it. And the unsweetened non-dairy, I use soy milk in this here, unsweetened. And I mash my potatoes, put the stuff in there, and that's it. And I season to taste. So I use the recipe, what it says here for you today, but if I want a little more of something, I put it in. This is what they turned out. Isn't that pretty yellow? That is beautiful, and they taste so good. So one of the reasons I wanted to do the mashed potatoes is because a lot of people like mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving, and the reason I did it is because we got gravy, okay? And so I wanted to make sure we had the mashed potatoes and then we could have the gravy. So that's this. Now we're going to switch out, and I'm going to have them switch tables for me. And then we're going to go to the mac and cheese. And I'm going to need this again. Okay.
While they're doing that, I'm going to give you just to go over a little bit of what's already in your folder. Now, you have a list there that's talking about plant-based diet lowers your blood pressure, and it gives you a little bit of information about how that does that. And those of you I know that suffer, those of us that suffer with high blood pressure, and we take medication, and we try to make sure to keep it down, that's what the plant-based diet will help you do, because it is designed so that you are eating the pure foods, the plant-based foods, nothing artificial, nothing processed in your food. And it does help to keep the blood pressure, to reduce the blood pressure. And it also says that it keeps your heart healthy, because meat is saturated fat, which can contribute to heart issues when eaten in excess, when we know that. So by cutting back on meat, loading up with plant-based foods, you're doing a really, you're giving your heart an advantage there in terms of helping it out a lot. And there are studies, many studies that prove this. And then a plant-based diet can also help prevent type 2 diabetes, or if you already have it, like me, then it helps you maintain your blood sugar level a little bit better. But certainly if you can get ahead of it and using it, before you actually have a diagnosis, there you can prevent type 2 diabetes with this. There's definitely a link that's been proven between the diet and your type 2 diabetes. And that, along with weight and all of those things that combine together, make you sort of, it puts you in a situation where you're heading in that direction to have type 2 diabetes. But if you can stop it and you can change it, you can really do yourself an advantage by making the changes. You coming up? Okay. So I just wanted to add that in. But again, remember, you have these handouts in your folder as well. So you will be able to follow along.
Okay, I'm back again. And this time I'm doing mac and cheese. And I love macaroni and cheese, okay? I have experimented with several different recipes. I like this, and this is kind of what I have been sticking with. One of the things, they bring my blender because I need it again. But one of the things I usually do, and they're going to bring up some wheat noodles.
Yeah, I set the table.
Today, because I don't know if somebody doesn't like wheat, wheat has a strong taste, I used regular, these noodles right here, okay? And then but usually when I do it, I use wheat noodles. But you can buy all kinds of noodles. Man, I was shocked how many different tasting noodles they have. So you can pick some of the things that are healthiest for you, but that you also like for a noodle, okay? And then for the mac and cheese, like I said, this is another blender thing. Some of these things are so easy to do. There's certain stuff you need to have in your pantry. You need to have nutritional yeast flakes. You need to have the liquid aminos, things like that, because you will use them in a lot. You'll find out there in a lot of recipes. The other thing with this is I'm going to be using cashews again. And there is a recipe that I have. Thank you, Jonathan. Yes. Anyway, there's some cashews are used a lot. And if you're allergic to nuts, I have another recipe. And again, if you're interested, I can send it to you, where it uses carrots, onions, potatoes, all that kind of stuff. And that was the only thing I used to use until I got on this one here. And this just has a little bit more. Thank you, yes. And again, there are these noodles. They also have these right here, the penne noodles in wheat. Okay, and I'll usually buy them in the store in the wheat, same just like that. But I also get, because I'll make macaroni and cheese using regular macaroni, I buy this in the bulk section at Winco because it's the cheapest. And so I will go and do that. Some people, if you like to shop where it's more expensive, like New Seasons or something, help yourself. But I try to save my little pennies, and so I'll go into Winco and buy these kind of noodles. We're going to start with this. 2 cups of water. I need a cup. I'm going to throw in here again. I'm going to put in the cashews. So we're going to start with that. Here's my cup again. They're already pre-washed for me. We're going to put those in there. And then we're going to put in, and this is a 4th cup of oil. And I know, I looked at some of the things in here. That's probably why it tastes so good, because it really is rich with stuff. It does have the oil. I think the other recipe with the carrots and the potatoes and stuff, I don't think it has oil in it. But this is what this recipe calls for. That's what I put in there. A 4th cup of pimentos. And this is just, cut up red peppers. You can buy, and sometimes I do that, it actually gives a little bit fresher taste if you buy red peppers. Just cut it up yourself, okay? Or you can buy it where it's pimentos and it's in little jars. And this is what this one is. Okay, a 1/2 cup of the yeast flakes. That's what I tell you again. This gives us our cheesy kind of taste. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Oh, thank you. Takes a village to make food, too. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Okay. And then it's going to be 1 tablespoon of sweetener. And in this case, we're using honey. But you can use maple syrup. You can pick whatever kind of sweetener you want. Sea salt. It's right here. 1 tablespoon. 1 teaspoon garlic powder. The cornstarch again, and this thickens it. Soy butter. And again, we talked about the different kinds of butter that you can get. And I use Earth Balance most of the time. And then a teaspoon of lemon juice. And the lemon gives it a little zesty flavor. The lemon really does do something. So we have that in there. And now it says you can add vegan cheese. This is optional. I use it because it gives a little bit of boost of flavor, but you do not have to use it, and it turns out fine. The other thing I do is I take half of it, and when I'm heating this stuff, I put the half in there, half of what it says here, where it says a 1/2 cup. I'll put 1/4 cup in there when I'm heating the sauce, and on top, I'll put cheese. So let's see. We're going to take, and I need 2 cups of water. Thank you for the cup. And again, I'm not going to put the whole thing in there to start. I'm going to get this started, and I'm going to keep my lid shut. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this mixing. You let the nuts, when it's in just a little bit of water, they mix up very well, and then you continue to add the rest of the water. I will finish mixing it downstairs, but I'm going to pour in the rest of this water, the rest of the cup first. And then 1 more cup. And you know, this is so funny. This is a cup, and it actually is for right-handed people. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm left-handed. So I'm going to turn this a little bit. When you heat this up, the sauce tastes really good. You have to make sure you mix all of it. So what I did today, trying to remember, I think I did 2. I doubled it because this makes a little bit smaller pan. Because it does 16 ounces, and I'm pretty sure I did the 2. And sometimes it won't fit in the blender. So what I'll do is I'll put maybe, if I double it, that's 4 cups of water. I might put 3 cups of water in here, use a pot, mix it up, and put another cup of the water in there. It just mixes very well. You have to watch it because it'll stick. But it tastes really good. And what you do once it's done, and I like extra sauce. So sometimes I don't even use the amount of noodles they tell me. I put my sauce in the container and I put in the amount of noodles I want. I keep it so nice and rich and creamy, okay? And this is what it looks like. This is the way it looks before it's baked, okay? We're gonna take it downstairs and we're gonna bake it, of course, so we can serve it to you nice and hot. And you can see what you think. So that's it on the mac and cheese, on the mashed potatoes and gravy. Do you have any questions? It looks like eggnog. You don't want to drink it like that, though. Yes, Candy.
I was just wondering if you get the salted-free cashews. I mean, like.
Oh, they are. Oh, thank you. That's a very good point. These are unsalted cashews, unsalted, okay? They're really raw, and they're raw. So I use unsalted raw cashews. Thank you for that. That's a big difference. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to move into the next presentation. Thank you.
Our lips are just watering to taste the food that you put there, especially the macaroni and cheese. That's one I've had a difficult time getting used to. But we're going to see how her recipe tastes. All right, as we move along while they're setting up, looking again at the advantages of taking a plant-based diet. We already mentioned earlier that the plant-based diet can help you lose weight. And we know that our risk of obesity decreases when you swap a meat-heavy diet for a plant-based one. In other words, plant-based eaters tend to weigh less, even if that's not their number one goal. The idea is to nourish the body and cells to improve health outcomes, but weight loss may be a byproduct of replacing and reducing certain foods. So we want to keep that in mind. Eating more plants can help you drop pounds too. A small study showed that people that do this for one whole year lost like 2.5 pounds on average. But also this diet was not restricting calories. It was just the fact that they changed over to it. And one more thing, following a plant-based diet long-term may help you live longer. And there have been studies there that have shown that. We know about that with our, I can't think of it now, the zones, what is it, blue zones, that's it. People that live longer, and they've done studies on this, and there's a book written on it. So there's a lot of information that can help you. I'm going to let you go ahead now, okay. Sharon.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharon Lincoln, and I am going to be demoing a vegan lentil Wellington for you. Before I get started, I just wanted to give you a little background on a couple of the ingredients that I've included. One being tamari, which is the same as a soy sauce, which is similar to the Bragg's that Jebber used in her recipe. And it basically says that though they are similar and often used interchangeably, the main difference is that traditional soy sauce is made with wheat, while tamari is made primarily from soybeans and contains little to no wheat. making it a suitable gluten-free alternative. And it's also richer, smoother, and milder in flavor than a regular soy sauce. And then, just bear with me because I took a picture here so I can bring it up. And then the other ingredient that I just wanted to talk about was quinoa, which is included in the recipe. Quinoa is a complete protein. It contains all 10 essential amino acids, making it a complete protein source. It's high in nutrients. It is rich in protein, fiber, B vitamins, and minerals like iron and magnesium. It's gluten-free. Quinoa is naturally gluten-free, making it suitable for people with celiac disease, and antioxidants. It contains beneficial antioxidants like quercetin, which may help with heart health and diabetes management. So, on to the recipe. And I don't know how many of you in here are cooks, but I'm sharing this recipe with you today to give you sort of a guideline, but as a cook, I reserve the right to tinker a little bit, so I might do something just a wee bit different than what I did in preparing it, but basically it's the basic map for putting the recipe together. And I've taken the liberty of preparing a lot of things in advance to make it go more smoothly. So the first thing that's called for is cooked quinoa, which I have here, and it basically calls for 1.5 cups. And so I put a little extra in just to make sure that I would have enough here. So I'm just going to measure it out. Oops. And this is, I think I did prepare this recipe prior, and the prep as always takes the most time, but I think it's pretty user-friendly. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the final product, and chose this as a meat alternative because with a plant-based diet, you're always looking to replace that turkey, right? Or looking for things that will be satisfying. And so this was a choice that I decided to try because I hadn't done one with the quinoa before. And then the next thing that it calls for is lentils. And I used 2 cans of lentils, and you wash and drain them really well, and you put them together with the quinoa. And this is one of my little toys that I like, to mash the lentils and blend them together with the quinoa. So I'm just going to mash them here, combine them. This is probably the part that takes the longest. Let me get in there. Come on out. Well, just bear with me for a minute here, because I'm here doing this with you. Of course, it's going to give me a few issues, but we can get around that. Okay. So I'm just going to stir the quinoa and the lentils together. And then the recipe calls for a tablespoon of tamari. And quite honestly, I'm a taste tester, so I'm tasting every step of the way. So even though you have the recipe, when all is said and done, you're going to determine whether or not the taste meets your expectations. Then I'm going to add a half a tablespoon, well, I actually said a teaspoon of granulated garlic powder. So I have a half a tablespoon here, but I'm just going to sprinkle some in. So this is one of my little things that I do. And then I'll kind of do a taste and see to see if there's enough in there. Can someone bring me a plastic spoon?
Plastic spoon?
Yeah, I forgot to bring one up with me. And while he's doing that, the recipe also calls for a half a cup of diced carrots. It calls for a half a cup of chopped celery and a cup and a quarter of diced pimento mushrooms. Now, thank you. And you saute those. But what I did with the carrots, I took the carrots after I diced them and put them in a little saucepan and brought them to a low boil. And then I set them aside, and then it actually helped with the sauteing because the carrots are a little bit more denser when they're sauteing. So I have all of that here, and I just want to taste because, again, this is all about the taste when all is said and done. So the recipe does call for a little salt, so I'll add some, and I'm just going to sprinkle. It says a teaspoon, but again, this is like I'm at home and you're just observing me cooking, so this is how I would do it if I was at home. So I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of salt, and I'm going to add a little bit more tamari, and I'm just going to sprinkle, so just bear with me. It's like soy sauce, but it's not. It's actually better for you than soy sauce, and it's gluten-free, and it has, what did it say? No wheat in it, just soybeans. So I'm going to share another secret with you here in a minute, because I have secrets in terms of how I did this. Getting there. Not quite though. So a little bit more soy sauce. Tamari, excuse me. And then, if you have other things in your cabinet that you think you might want to introduce, you can. One of the things I introduced, which I didn't put on the recipe, but I'm just sharing with you one of my secrets, is I put just a little bit of A1 sauce in, and A1 sauce is vegan, believe it or not. So it's just a little bit to enhance the flavor, because for me, when I'm cooking, especially when I'm cooking plant-based, which I've been doing now consistently for between 10 to 15 years, taste and texture is everything to me. And if I can't get the taste and the texture, then we got a problem. And my taste tester at home has a problem too, if I can't get it, so. So that's why you're in my kitchen with me right now, because I'm trying to get this together for my taste tester. So, but you guys are my taste testers today too. So. Okay, we're there. So, I've already taken the liberty of sauteing the vegetables as I shared. So I'm going to fold them in with the quinoa mixture and the lentils. So this is the mushrooms, the carrots, and the celery. And I folded the carrots in after I did them in the saucepan, just to speed it along. So you're just going to fold them in, make sure they're evenly mixed in here. And then once that's evenly mixed, then the final ingredient to add is a cup of breadcrumbs. And I have plain breadcrumbs, but you can use seasoned breadcrumbs, or I would assume you could also use panko if you wish, but I'm using the plain breadcrumbs. So we're gonna, cost for a cup, I'm just gonna go under just a little bit. Just mix it in until it's evenly distributed there. And if for some reason, when you're mixing it, if it feels a little stiff to you, I just put a little drop of tamari, just a little drop, just to add a little bit more moisture to it, just to make sure that everything gets in there okay. Put the rest in here. So let me put these on because I need to get my fingers in there. And again, just to make sure that everything is blended pretty good. Oops. So I'm just mainly just making sure everything is evenly distributed with the quinoa. And the quinoa is really a really great grain that can be used in a lot of different recipes. Done a cauliflower mash with quinoa combined in it. Also did a chili with quinoa in it. You can add quinoa to your soup. So it's really a very versatile little grain that can be used for a variety of things. So once that's done, then the recipe calls for a puff pastry. And Pepperidge Farms is vegan, so you don't have to worry about it being a non-vegan item. And you just take the sheet and add a little bit of flour. Just put it on my cutting board. And we're just going to take the puff pastry and we're going to, I need to be on here. Just roll it out so that the mixture for the Wellington will be encased in it. And you want to roll it enough so that you're able to get it in there. And then you're just going to take your mixture, basically. I'm kind of messy here. Bear with me. So you're just basically going to shape it like a loaf. And then I've been playing with the puff pastry. So I was looking online at what some people were doing. So then I basically take it and slice it. I think I got that side just a little bit short. And so then what you're going to do is just take your pastry strips and you're just going to crisscross them. I'm going to bring that up. And you know when you do something one time, so the first time I did this, it was like, oh great. So this morning when I was prepping to come, I kind of took a shortcut and did it a little bit differently, but once you complete it, then you put this in the oven. And usually the recommendation is that you would take some parchment paper and I have a little flat pan here. And you would basically just take this and slide it on the pan. Kind of got off a little bit, but. And then you can just bake it on the parchment paper, and you bake it anywhere between 40 to 45 minutes on 375 until the pastry gets brown. So this morning, like a cook that I am, got a little impatient, put my Wellington in the oven, and then I came back and I kept on saying, it's not browning fast enough. So I turned on the broiler, and it kind of got scorched a little bit, but here's the final product. All right. But it's very user-friendly, and I'm honest as a cook that I did get impatient today, but there it is. Any questions?
Where would you buy the canned lentils? I've only seen them dry.
You can find them in New Seasons, probably at Whole Foods. And I would think that you could find them in Fred Meyer's also, because they have a section back there that you can find them. Yeah. You can use dry. You can just swap them out and cook them. Yes, yes. The idea with this was to keep it user-friendly and simple. And so, but you do have the option to swap out the canned with dry.
I was going to say that with the dried, that they cook so quickly.
They do.
Yeah, you know, I would just buy the dry ones and.
Oh, I cook with dry
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But for this exercise, I went with the canned.
Sure.
But because if, you know, in the event someone doesn't really want to fool with the dry, then they have that option too. But it's really easy to use.
I'm just amazed at how fast they cook, like within 15 minutes.
Yeah, they are.
done.
They're really super quick, super quick. Any other questions?
Can you get by without using parchment paper?
Yes.
Just like use spray?
Oh, yes. You could actually put it in a glass baking dish if you want.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just, you know, one of the little notes along the way in one of the recipes. I basically, when I started looking at this for this cooking class, I actually took a combination of 2 recipes, and I almost forgot what I took from each recipe, but yeah, but the parchment paper just makes it easy just to pick it up and go with it is all, yeah.
So how many servings does this recipe make?
Depends on the person, depends on the person who's eating it, because, I mean, you know, really, you could probably get, depending, maybe 8 to 10 slices, but it depends on the width of the slice and how you do that, you know, because we have a thought in terms of how many people it serves, but in the end, it's about the person who's slicing it. So,
They
So
probably go
basically-
great with gravy too, right?
yes, it would be wonderful with gravy. I think when Deborah has, when we do the tasting with the mashed potatoes and gravy, there'll be some gravy there too. But I thought, honestly, I was really pleased with this recipe when I did it for the first time because I hadn't done it before. And I think my taste tester will attest to the fact that he gave it a thumbs
It was
up.
very good. It was very good. Yeah, that's right. It was very good.
So,
that's you make it in that side bowl.
oh yeah, this is my love bowl that I did. But you could, I mean, honestly, this is just because I wanted to use this bowl, but you can do a larger mixing bowl if you want, yeah. But I mean, it's just, you know, I just wanted to contain everything. It doesn't take a lot. So, any other questions? Okay.
Where would I get that from? I can't pronounce it.
Oh, the quinoa?
Where you get that from?
That's a store.
You can get it in any store, actually. You can find it in with the dried beans section, I believe. Or you can buy it in bulk. In most of the stores, you can find it in bulk, but it's there. In most stores, carry it.
Yeah.
It's a common grain that you see in the store. Probably near the rice tube is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can find it in Safeway. I've seen it in Safeway
Yeah.
and Fred Meyer.
Yeah.
Besides the other stores, yeah, it's pretty common. We're going to have, you know, you're going to be able to ask more questions to, and the individuals that actually made the dishes can respond. But I just want to also, I was told to remind you that at the end, you will be able to taste everything that has been presented to you today. And then you will be able to ask questions directly to the person that fixed it. And they will give you, you know, and give you information directly. So I wanted to remind you about that. But again, talking about the advantages, and again, you have all of this written in your folder, and you can refer to it any time. But we also talk about plant-based food, decreasing your risk of cancer. And then that goes along with everything else we've been saying, how you're being very careful about what you're putting in your body. You're trying to put it in as pure food as you can. By that, I said with, none of the processed, none of the other things that you can't pronounce that go into making up food. But as close as we can get to the natural plant or the food, how it's grown, the more healthy it is for us. So you want to keep that in mind. So naturally, if that's the case, then it's going to keep you from, protect you, reduce your risk of getting cancer in many instances. It's going to improve your cholesterol levels, as we talked about. And then if it's going to help you with cancer and your blood pressure and all of that, it's going to help you minimize your chances of a stroke. So, it's all sort of fits together if you think about it. It's all put together. Then, obviously, the plant-based is going to help keep your brain strong because you're putting the right type of nutrients and you're putting in the natural nutrients into your body. So all of your body, all of the organs in your body are going to benefit from this. So it's just our way of trying to let you know all of the advantages of, and like we said in the beginning, it doesn't mean that you have to make these big changes. You can do it gradually and still get the benefit from it. So I think you're up now. Terry's up now. And we'll see what she's going to do with those collard greens.
Good afternoon, everyone.
My name is Sunshine. No, my name is Terry. Today I am going to be preparing stir-fried collard greens. I had never, ever heard of stir-fried collard greens, but we will have stir-fried collard greens today. Before I get started, I want to just let you know ahead of time, I have fresh collard greens here, and I have frozen. So if you are pinched for time, and you don't have time to wash and cut and all those things that go along with preparing for the stir-fried collard greens, you can always use frozen. And you can find this, I believe I got this at Winco. They're a little tougher, and you'll notice within them there are more stems. So if you like stems, and what I hear, stems have all the nutrients that are within the stems. So that is an option. So you have frozen, and then you have your fresh. So I brought this up just for demonstration purposes of even how to cut the collard greens. The center part is called the rib of the green. And like I said, some people prefer to have those on, or you can just cut right down and just cut the part of the rib out, and you can roll it. I would normally have a bunch in there, but I just want to demonstrate a small amount, and you just kind of cut it where it's rolled. And so, all right. So what we're going to do now is, hopefully my skillet is quite warm. Can you guys still see that with it? Oh, okay. All right, I am going to pour some oil in there. Let me make sure it's turned down because it may be a little bit high. Yeah, just a little bit high. So the first step in which we're going to do is we're going to put oil in the pan, and that is to prepare, and I may put a little bit more than what's on there. It says a tablespoon, but I'm going to do a little bit more. And as Sharon says, I'm one of those cooks who will look at a recipe and feel like, I'll add a little more of this or a little more of that. So those of you who cook, you can relate and understand. So I put a little bit more oil in there. Next thing that I have is garlic cloves. So I've already prepared everything and have it in my little dish. Have garlic, in which I'm going to put in here in the pan. I have ginger. This is something different. I've never cooked greens with ginger, but here is ginger. It gives it a nice little taste to it. And then I have shallots. Everyone knows what shallots are, right? They're just another type of onion. And Later, I'll bring one up so you'll know exactly what it is. If someone can get a shallot for me downstairs in my bag. So this was all one shallot. So you're going to saute this for about 2 minutes. How are you guys doing so far? Ready for the end product? Yes, I'm sure you are. We're winding down. We'll be down there shortly to the end. The end of all the demonstrations. So after this, I have one more, so you'll see me, I think, 3 times in a row. So don't get bothered by me being up here 3 times. But you'll be seeing me 3 times. They say save the best for last. Is that what it usually is? That I am. Okay. Probably hasn't been 2 minutes, but let me give it another minute as I saute this some more. And for the sake of time, I'm going to use the frozen greens because this would take a little bit more time to cook. And depending on the texture of how you like your greens, it can be a little crunchy, of course, because that's where all the nutrients are. But some of us cook greens till it just melts in your mouth and just goes down your throat. So that's kind of how I like mine. Yeah, both ways taste good. Okay. So these are going to still have a little bit of crunch to them. So thank you. So this is a shallot. It's in the onion section. So this is a shallot. This is a different shape, and it's purple on the inside. The inside of it, I'll just peel this as this is frying, so you'll see a little bit of it. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's just kind of purple on the inside. I mean on the outside of it. So that's the shallot. So since this is frozen, it's also gonna smells good, huh? Yeah, it's that ginger and garlic. I think I put garlic in here. Yep, garlic and ginger. Then towards the end, I'm going to be adding salt. And as we all know, if you're tasting as you go along, you can add according to your taste buds. And so, okay, after that's done, then I'm going to put the vinegar. And this is a rice vinegar. Rice vinegar. Rice vinegar. Where's my rice vinegar? Okay. And I also put a white cooking wine. How many of you have cooked with white cooking wine before? It adds a little kind of a bitter taste, but it's absolutely wonderful. And then I'm going to add also my rice vinegar. About a tablespoon of that. Of course, I didn't measure, but thank you. And then we're going to use honey. No, I'm not going to use honey because individuals who are vegans oftentimes do not use honey because, does anyone know why they don't use honey if you're a vegan? Because of the bees, and bees is a living being. And so that's why they don't. So I'm not measuring this, but I'm just going to pour a little bit of this. That gives it a different taste, you know? And then you just kind of saute it all together. And then one thing that I use also, if it's not like, need a little bit more oomph to it, is you can use like the vegetable broth, and I get the low sodium, and this is an organic brand. You can buy it in any store. I shop at Winco a lot, and so this is where I got this. And I just pour a little bit in here, and then you let it cook for about 3 minutes or so, covered. Oh, I guess I could have put both of them. Thank you. I forgot. Thank you for being so observant. I just messed up the whole process, but it's okay. Okay. But it'll still cook. All right. So we'll give this a little bit of time to cook, and then I'll show you what the end product will look like. And this is the end product, and I had used a bag with this, and so that's why there's more like the stem in there. So, any questions? Pretty self-explanatory about greens, so I used rice vinegar.
I missed out on the first two ingredients that you put in that you simmered. What were they? Were they ginger and the garlic, or what?
Ginger
was that?
and garlic.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then shallots.
Okay.
Yep.
What kind of oil did you use?
I use olive oil,
Okay.
extra virgin.
All right.
Yes. And then sometimes I use this bouillon, better than bouillon, which is a, sorry, I'm having one of those moments for those women who understand my personal summer, and my glasses keep sliding as a result. So I use this as well sometimes for seasoning instead of like actual salt. I use this, and you add a little water to that.
You only cook the green for 2 minutes?
You can cook it to the consistency you would like, but because these were frozen, it's going to cook a little bit longer.
I can't only cook greens all day.
That's what I said earlier. Yes, where you cook it to all the nutrients are in the pot liquor. So we all know about the pot liquor. Yes, so anyway, so that's that. And I just add more broth as it cooks down. And that is that. Now visually, I can see that it needs some more, something. And so I'm going to put a little bit more of that. I'm going to add a little bit of this. And then, and then I'm going to add a little bit of water. I usually would mix the bouillon stuff like in a little cup and blend it all together. And then that's that. And there you are with your collard greens. Yep. And I'm with you. I boil my greens all day. I put a bunch of onions and garlic and other stuff in there, liquid smoke, and
Could you make that ahead of time?
you sure can. Yes, you can. It lasts, pardon me?
Better the next day?
Better the next day. You know, like with most things, the seasonings really hone in, and they come into play even more so in a couple days or so. And there you go. Voila. All right. And I think I am up again. They put me back to back. All right. So I'll let this cook some more. And,
Does that stay here or?
oh, no. I mean,
Plug it in back.
just plug it in the
Or
back.
put it on that.
You can put it on the next one.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, as they're moving that, I will be right back. Am I doing back to?
Chris, can you go on this side? My stuff's here where you're
Yeah, put it over there. Oh, sorry about that. I guess we didn't learn from the earlier person. Where's Debbie? All right.
You want it on the end or in the middle?
This, you can put that on the end, since that's not part of this particular meal. All right, so the next thing, that's my dessert. The next thing in which I'm gonna do is vegan cornbread dressing. This is also different than how I normally would make it. I'm not actually gonna whip up the cornbread, but I will tell you a little bit, and I think the recipe is actually in your folders. As you see the little specks in here, that is flax. Flax meal is used in the place of eggs, and so this does not have any eggs in it. And for cornbread dressing, you want your cornbread to be really dry. This isn't as dry as I'd like, but we will work with it. Oh, there's one thing I do need. I will actually need this frying pan. I forgot that I will have to saute all the things for this. So anyway, so why don't I go with the next person, which will be Deborah, or if you guys don't mind taking a little intermission if you need to go to the restroom while I switch this out. So your choice. A little admission. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for your patience. Yeah. Yeah. And I know you guys have been sitting back to back. So there's coffee, I mean, not coffee. We have tea. We have hot chocolate, if you'd like, and some water. And then I will switch this out.
So while you're doing that, I have a question.
Yes.
I tried that
Egg replacer. Uh-huh.
By the time I got ready to use it, turned to concrete, it got so hard.
Oh, did you wait a long, long time?
Nah, it was a few minutes, but it was all groomy and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. And then you need to immediately put it in whatever you're making.
So what I had to do, put more water into it or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just add a little bit more water. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take this downstairs, because I'm gonna switch it out. I forgot that I gotta saute all the stuff.
You need it back.
Yeah,
Take this downstairs.
yes, please. It is on. All right, we're going to get started. So we're going to get back started here, and we're going to go with making our vegan cornbread. I left a little bit of the greens in the skillet because, a little extra greenery won't hurt. So to saute your vegetables, you can use olive oil. I'm using some vegan butter. There's something about butter taste, So I'm just going to use some vegan butter. And I have some diced celery. This is not on your recipe. I like color in my dressing. So you can use whatever color you like, but I have orange and red. And then you also have onions. So I'm going to just saute all of this together. Pepper. Because I like color. And we're just going to saute this all together. And I've already put all of my seasonings in here, and so this says about 8 minutes, which we don't want to take 8 minutes, but I'll just go through the steps after that. So I'm just going to let this cook down a little bit. And in the sample one we have for you guys today, I didn't put any mushrooms in it because some people don't like mushrooms. But if you do, mushrooms are very good in this because it gives it like a little meaty taste. And so, or you can use like the vegetarian products of the chicken or whatever you want to use. But for demonstration purposes, I am going to use mushrooms, but the one we're sampling does not have mushrooms. Any questions thus far?
You can replace the mushrooms with a vegan chicken or a vegan beef.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any particular brand that you use if you did that?
I personally don't because I put mushroom. I like the taste of mushroom.
Any type of mushroom?
Yeah, these are just the regular white ones, but you can also use the portobello or whichever mushroom you prefer. And so, yeah. Who doesn't like mushrooms? You like mushroom? Tom doesn't like mushrooms? Okay, so then he'll be good. I don't have mushrooms in there. Oh, he'll eat what's before him, huh? Yeah. So are you guys all excited for the holidays coming up? No. No? Why no? As we're waiting for this to prepare, I want to talk to you guys a little bit. So why not? You are excited? Can someone tell me what's one thing about the holidays you enjoy?
Time off work.
Time off work. I'm amen to that.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Getting with family.
Family. Yes, that's my number one thing is just being with family. Football. I can leave that, but for and eating good meals. Yes. Yes. Is there something about a memory you have of like a grandparent or a parent? What's one dish that you really enjoyed that someone in your family made?
Well, I can tell you, I have a microphone so we can.
Yeah.
I know that we're doing things. My grandmother on my mom's side, the day after Thanksgiving, she would take the turkey that's left over, and we always have leftover turkey. And she would make this dish and make mashed potatoes and put it on top. And she just baked this dish.
Oh.
And of all the things that I can remember about holidays, that was just amazing to me that she made a whole new dish, and it was
Yes.
absolutely delicious.
Yes.
Of everything, and these people could cook. You know, these are the kind of cooks that make you want to eat your own fingers. It tastes so good. But yeah, Grandma's turkey, potato, whatever it is, pie or whatever it was called, that was, to this day I can remember that, and that's been almost 30, 40 years ago now.
Nice.
One thing that I remember special for the holidays was, I'm from the South, so it had to be Georgia pecans, and we would put them in the oven and roast them with butter, thin slices of butter over the top of them, and put a little salt on them, let them get nice and roasted. And then we'd put a little cheese on the apple pie. Those were some special things for the holidays.
Cheese on the apple pie. I just.
Let it melt. Put it in and warm it up a little bit and let that cheese melt a little bit. Or that was.
Ooh, that sounds really good right about now.
I would like the way my mother made her turkey and dressing.
Okay. Yes. Or boiling the carcass and making a soup.
Yeah, I used to like that too.
Yes. Yes.
I used to like her boiled eggs too. She used to make
Yeah.
boiled eggs, you know.
Uh-huh.
I like that too.
There's so much to the memories in which we hold, you know, and to pass on to the next generation. But this other generation, they're a different generation. You know, it's not like how it used to be, but we could still just have our memories and try and pass on those things.
Yeah.
So as you see, I put the cornbread in the bowl and just kind of crumbled it up. The recipe also calls for bread to put in there. I didn't bring any bread, so we're just going to do it like this.
Without bread.
Yeah, like some dried bread or whatever to put it in here and just put it all together. And then after this is sauteed and everything, you're going to pour it inside of here. What am I making? Well, I thought I was making cornbread dressing. Okay. Yeah, vegan style. And then I'm just going to put all this seasoning in here. Oh, this is the onion powder, the garlic powder, and a pinch of salt and poultry seasoning. Okay? And then I'm used to having a skillet to just pour it in, but, you know, we'll do what we do here. And just put it all in here. And then after this, I'm going to put some broth and put it in the pan. And if Jonathan, can you bring the finished product? It's on that warming plate in there. What, this? The mushroom? Well, it can be rubbery, and if you cook it really long, I would imagine. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of vegetable broth. Yeah. So I'll just put a little bit in here. Yes, I buy this from Winco. Fred Meyer's have their own brand. So I had never made this particular recipe before. I have a tendency to add other stuff, but we'll work with what this is. And so you just kind of do it to your moisture. I probably put a little bit more poultry seasoning in it. And then you just do it to your consistency of wetness, and then you're going to bake it for It looks like it says like 30 minutes, and then you're gonna cover it before you bake it, and then after 30 minutes, you're gonna uncover it, and then you'll bake it a little bit longer. And you normally would like kind of oil the pan or put some butter, vegan butter or whatever, and put it in there. And then I'll show you the final product. This is a little dry because it's been sitting in the oven, but this is what it looks like afterwards. And I'm going to put a little bit broth on there. And that's that. Any questions? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put it in the pan. I'm going to unplug this because this is burning. And then there we go. And you add liquid even as it's baking. If it's looking like it's drying out, like that's very dry. It is dry because I should have not kept it in the oven as long as I did. But put a little gravy on it, you're good to go, you know? All right. My glasses just don't want to stay on. It keeps sliding off. Okay. Okay. And then there you go. You put it in the oven, cover it, and put it in the oven. And voila. Any questions? So this particular recipe says for the first 30 minutes, then you take 30 to 40 minutes, and then you, with it covered, and then you put it in for additional 20. But you can look at it as it's baking and kind of judge the firmness on top. And so, all right, okay, that's me. And then I guess the next person is Miss Deborah. Oh, it looks like me again.
You're going to have a lot of fun.
Okay, no, we're going to have Deborah start. I need a little break.
All right. Oh, well, let's just have her.
Thank you guys for your patience.
This is the last demo. I have one of them, Deborah again, and Terry has one. And these are the little desserts we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to start. And what I made, and I hadn't made these. Last time we had the cooking class, I did vegan chocolate chip cookies. I like cookies. So I did cookies this time, and they're vegan cranberry orange. And I haven't done those before, but I wanted to do something that seemed like it went with the holidays. And anyway, they look like this, okay? And you can judge the taste. I think they're a tiny bit dry, but boy, after I ate it and I gave my husband one, he ate it. It's like they're not real sweet. You could just eat and eat and eat them, okay? So I'm happy with them. I might make a little tweak to it. But anyway, here's what we have. It tells you to mix your dry ingredients together. So we have the 1 cup of flour. I'm going to put it in this bowl. And it says combine flour, baking powder, and salt. So that's the flour. Here's the baking powder and the salt. And it tells me to mix these ingredients together. This is really a simple recipe. And this is the vegan cranberry orange cookies. So that's one of the things you do. Then it tells me to mix the other things. So in another bowl, whisk together the melted coconut oil. So I got coconut oil, and I just melted it on top of the stove. So I've got that. And then it tells me to mix the maple syrup. I've already measured that out. I couldn't even tell. Okay, there's the maple syrup. And then the last thing I'm going to put in there is, I didn't mix up the egg replacer. So the egg replacer, and there's several, I wanted you to see this. I've had this for a long time. There's Bob's Red Mill. They have egg replacers at most of the stores, like Fred Meyer and stuff. And it does replace an egg. You have to read on the back of it, so it'll tell you what you do for one egg. In this case, you use 1.5 teaspoons of this mix, and this is what it looks like. It's just a little clear mix. You mix 1.5 teaspoons of this, and you mix it with 2 tablespoons of water. And if I can get somebody to bring me, can someone bring me a teaspoon and some water? Teaspoon, water, and tablespoon. I will go on past that. And then the other thing it has on here, and the orange zest. So what I did, because you can buy orange zest already made, but what I did is took an orange, just use a grater, and grated up the orange peel. Okay? And so that's what I'm going to mix in here. And then I'm going to go back to this, and I better wait because I'll mess it up if I don't. And so I'm going to mix these ingredients together. And in here, I'm also going to put in there what makes it taste like an egg. What it does is it binds it, like eggs will bind something together. So this egg replacer will bind. You also can use flaxseed meal and do the same thing. So one of the things I do is when I want to replace something, because last time when I did the chocolate chip cookies, I used a recipe I like, and I just take out eggs. I take out this stuff and replace it with something else. So you can go online, and it's going to tell you what to replace something with. It'll tell you, and matter of fact, in your folder, we put several documents in there on the, can't remember, on the left side, I think it is. Like, I think we have milk substitutes. We have just some information in there for you. But for eggs, you can replace them. And this is one, and also flaxseed meal. And it'll do the same kind of thing. So, if I can still get some spoons, it's all right if I don't get them. Yeah. So what are the kinds of, let me tell you this. Terry, because we like sweet potato pie. Okay, we just love sweet potato pie. So we had Terry make one last week, okay, because we were going to do that as a sample. But we weren't really happy with the way it tasted. So she's going to work on it and do some modifications and come back with something that she really, really likes. So once we come up with where the sweet potato pie ought to be, where it really tastes like that, we can send you out the recipe for it, okay? Thank you, Jonathan. So I'm going to take this little bowl. I'm going to put 1.5 teaspoons of this. Thank you.
How much water do you need?
Oh, not very much, so that's perfect. Okay, let me get, here's a teaspoon. Thank you. Whoop, it's gonna be messy. That's 1. The half, if I can get it. Okay, and then to this, I'm going to mix 2 tablespoons of water. Here's my tablespoon. And Jonathan opened one of these for me, I thought. You did? And there's one. Okay, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. And it's just it's just going to mix up. It does. And this is supposed to be equivalent to 1 egg. And once I mix it, make sure you get the lumps out of it. Because this was a liquid too, now we're going to put it over here. We're going to pour that in there. So we mix all of this up together. And once it's mixed, you pour it into the dry ingredients. Now, I changed the recipe. I added the egg replacer because I tried it. It just was too dry. They're still kind of dry now, but it was even drier than that. So I put in the egg replacer. You're going to mix this up. Oh, and let me tell you the other thing I was surprised about. I thought it was going to bake a whole bunch of cookies. It made about 10 cookies. You know what I mean? So I was baking several, anyway, that's more than one batch, believe me. And so you mix this up like this. Comes out almost like a dough. Did I mix the milk? Nope, there's no. No, it doesn't. There's no milk in it. And also, once you get this mixed up like this, and mine was it had a little more, it wasn't quite as dry. But you put in the cranberries. And here's the maple syrup. You can buy any kind of maple syrup, 100% pure maple syrup, and it's just so much better for you. And then I went, and some of the stores, I went to Trader Joe's, and actually they have pretty good prices on some of this stuff. But anyway, I got the cranberries and the dried cranberries, and I had to go to Trader Joe's. I went to, I think, Walmart or something. I went to one of the stores before I went there, and all of theirs had sugar in them, okay? So I ended up going to Trader Joe's and was able to find some cranberries without sugar. Take my hand and just kind of mix this up like this. It actually, that egg replacer does a pretty, yeah, that'll help hold it together. Instead of using eggs. And I took it, once I got it like this, I took it and I put it in a pan. It doesn't say this on here, but I took a pan with a little bit of flour. I took this, I just smashed it down in the flour. I flipped it, I think, one time. I'll take some of that flour off, because when you cook it, you'll see the flour. And I smashed it down really flat, and then I took a little lid. You can determine what size you want the cookies. I took a little lid, I don't know, about 2.5 inches wide. You'll see what size, because it makes the cookies all come out nice and round. And I just cut it the same way you would do biscuits. And then I baked it. And you'll get a chance to taste it. And I'll say this too, it's not getting dark, okay? So when you bake it, it says 12 to 15 minutes, do the 12 to 15 minutes, because it's not gonna get, you know, the way some cookies look where they're really brown on the top. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna stay this light like this. You get a chance to taste it. I really wanna see what you think about those cookies. But anyway, that's the recipe for those.
Those are done right there?
Yeah. These are done. See that? See all the cranberries and everything on the top? You gotta love cranberries. The next thing I'm gonna do is add nuts to it, because I love nuts. And so I'm gonna put some nuts in there, and I think I'll be happy. Okay, Terry. I'm not sure where Terry is, but Terry's gonna do the last thing, which is the vegan apple crisp. And then once she gets through with that, and matter of fact, while she's waiting, there's something we can do. Since I finished with my part of the demonstration, some of the things we're going to do is, and Ann's coming, we're going to do a drawing. So we have some gift cards to give away. We actually have 4 $25 gift cards to Fred Meyer, okay? So we're giving you these gift cards so that you can go and buy some of this stuff. and you can make some of the things that we're talking about. So we're going to go on and have a drawing for that. Here she comes. Here she comes. Yes, they do. Okay, I'm going to leave this to you. I think you have, there's a bowl, and I'm hoping that's all you need. Is that what that is, Deborah? Because we could all hear you on your microphone. We'll just
All right.
We'll take this right here.
Okay, there are waters here, I'm not sure why. Well,
I'll put it on this tray.
I am tasked with the vegan apple crisp.
Thank you.
So my butter was melted, okay. All right,
And I'll take this.
so there's one thing, I'm just gonna go through this really quick because the apples are downstairs and for the sake of time. The apples are supposed to be cut up pretty fine. And once you have cut them up and put them in there, then you put in the, your vegan butter, which is melted, and then also your flour. And the flour is supposed to help it so that it's not as runny. And so, and the cinnamon as well. And I have all that here. And then you would mix it all together. And for the second time, I'm not going to do that. And the lemon juice and so forth. And then after you've done that, you put it in a pan, a dish, and you put that on the bottom. And then after you've put that on the bottom, you will whisk together the melted butter, the flour, the lemon juice, and cinnamon and salt. That's what goes in the apple mixture. And then on the top, you're going to put in the all-purpose flour, brown sugar, rolled oats, cinnamon, baking powder, salt, and vegan butter. So, since I don't have the apples, I'm just going to show you guys the end result, and then we will go from there. This is an apple crisp, and you can use like vegan whipped cream. You can use a dollop of ice cream. And I think we do have a little bit of vegan ice cream here that we can put on there.
I never tasted that before.
You will get a chance to today. And then that's that. Any questions? I didn't go through the whole demonstration, so any questions? None? You guys are ready to eat, huh?
Yeah, I am.
I think we all are. So, did you guys find this helpful in any way or very helpful? Okay, wonderful. Well, I think what we're going to do is we are going to end. So if Deborah can come up, or Ann, as we prepare to end this portion and go into our sample portion of eating, then that's what we're going to do next. All right, I see some yawns. Are we sleepy, energized? We still have some daylight, so you still get to leave out of here with it being daylight. Isn't that wonderful? That is wonderful.
Yeah, we got this nuclear now.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of it, but
You like the old time?
yes, I like daylight.
Yeah, I like the old time.
Yes. All right.
Let's say that this is a job well done. I know it's a lot of work to put all of this together. Thank you very much.
Yes, sleepless nights, but thank you all. We thank you because we obviously couldn't have had this without you all being here, and we appreciate you coming and attending this. And this is our second one, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
We had two
Did we have to?
once, because I thought this was the third.
Second or third. But as we do it, we try and do a little bit better. So this is kind of where we are. But we appreciate you all for showing up. And so, Ann, did you have any final tidbits?
Final tips, you have everything that we talked about in your folders.
Uh-huh.
I do know that we're going to be doing some.
Oh, gift
drawing.
cards. Okay, so we're getting ready to do the gift cards.
Yeah, that's
And so Deborah's bringing the tickets as she walked in the room without that. So we're waiting on the cards, the drawing. So we got to draw a card or a number. Yeah, I do. I do have the gift cards. I have to get the gift cards. Okay, do you all have your gift cards? Yeah. I'm going to read the last 4 numbers on your ticket, not gift card. You don't have the gift card yet. That's what you're going to get. 8838. That would be you. Okay, I got a gift card for you. It is in the office, and it's under my little black thing that has the pins in it. So we got that one. Next one is 8841. All right, got 2 winners. We got a total of 4. And they are $25 gift cards to Fred Meyer's. The next one is 8840. Okay, Miss Corrine. And one more. Lucky for one more. Let's see what this one is. It is 8836.
Oh, I think I got that. Yeah, I have it.
8836. Okay. Well, I'm going to go get the cards, and I will give you guys your cards. Thank you.
That one's not on. Can you turn this mic on up here? Up top? There you go. You're on.
Okay, all right. I was just going to say this has been a really fun time. I told you we would have a little bit of fun with this. The best is yet to come. They're setting up the table so we can get all of the samples, and there should be enough for everybody here. And as Terry was saying, I think we've gotten better with each one we've done. The first time we were sort of running around, didn't know how to do the table. But so the next one we do will be even better. So we want to look forward to that, and we hope that that you will come, that you will invite someone, bring friends, family members, and just sort of enjoy the time that we spend together. But we're so thankful that you're here today. So enjoy the samples that they have. I think they're just about ready. So I would think that we can ask questions if you have some more that for the individuals that made the different dishes. That would be helpful. Okay, thank you for coming.
So we're off air, right?